I'm Yuval David. Today I'm sitting here with Dr. Dahiya in his own practice. Now, here's something that I'm just going to reveal to all of you. Not only am I here to interview Dr. Dahiya and speak with him, with you rather, but I'm also here as a patient. I first came here because I think I had 3 referrals, and I quickly saw what makes this practice special. But before I tell you what I think makes it special, I want you, Dr. Dahiya, to tell me what makes your practice so unique and special. You know this industry. You've been working within this industry in different capacities, and now that you have your own practice, what is so special about your own practice?
I think the really fundamental thing about our practice is that we try to treat each patient relationship as if it's meant to be long-term and almost as much of friendship and sort of part of our little family. My whole practice, we have a small team and we all care about each other, and it's emphasized that we need to care about each person that's a patient the same way. So rather than trying to be the busiest, we really want to just make sure that we're the best and that every patient is cared for and feels that sense of support throughout their journey.
I mean, I can definitely attest to that. I honestly feel like I've become friends with the different people who work here as part of your team, as part of your staff. And one of the things I said to you in a previous conversation that we had is you could definitely take your practice and put it in a city like Los Angeles or New York or Las Vegas or in the center of Washington, D.C. And you could still do everything you're doing now, but would there be more panache if you were there?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, certainly certain cities and landmarks have more of that panache, but in fact, I was in Chevy Chase, closer to the heart of DC, and one of my fears of moving out here was that would I lose some of that? And it's interesting, but over the years, my Georgetown patients, they'll make the drive here, and now, in fact, if anything, we're getting patients from places like New York who kind of learn about some of the things that we specialize in. So I think ultimately, if you put your heart into what you're doing and make sure you're trying to always, deliver a quality treatment, then eventually people find out, and it doesn't matter where you are. So it's
That's definitely true. I mean, the fact that you do provide a quality treatment. There is a very high level of expertise, which is apparent, and which is why you have these clients and patients who come from across the country. One of the things that makes it also a lot more special and easier is the fact that it's easy to park here.
Yeah.
It's easy to get here. You don't have that same stress of trying to drive around and hit traffic and try to find parking like you would if it was a practice in Georgetown, let alone New York City, where I live as well.
Right.
So the fact that your practice is here adds even more of a level of comfort and calmness.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's different about where I was before is I was in more of a city environment, and even the practical stuff like being able to park and walking in the back door if you need to, if you're feeling like, I have some swelling, and the fact that it's in a home rather than a big 20-story building, there's definitely more of that intimacy that's sort of emphasized by the physical structure. So I think it's been a real asset, if anything.
If you want to see more about Dr. Dahiya's opinions and honest advice, go look at all of the content that that he has across social media. You'll definitely see some of his opinions and very honest advice.